What's going on with your brave duelist? Today we got a really cool one in store, the Rikka Sunavalon plant deck. It's been going crazy, it had other tops within that tournament. It's always been there lurking in the shadows. It takes a master pilot like Jessica to make it win something as huge as that. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. We'll start with the 3 copy of Sunseed Genius Loci. So what this card does is basically this seed can only be harvested from the sacred tree once every 1,000 years. And it will become the guardian spirit of its land after 1,000 more. So with the combos this deck does, you kind of need that 1,000 years because it can take that long to finish your combos. You'll see that later on. So because that card is so important, we'll run 3 more copies with Unexpected Die. Another way to get into this, and if you get the die instead of this, save yourself that normal summon. We'll then run our 1 copy of Sunseed Twin. This card will find its way in your opening hand. Not much you can do about that, but you don't want more than 1 there, so you're just gonna stick with that. 2 copies of Sunvine Sowing. This card's gonna let you take 1,000 damage to special summon a Sunseed monster from your deck. That's how you're gonna get into your twin usually, unless, it's sitting there in your hand. You want 2 copies of this because if you get one later on in the game, it can still be really helpful to get things going again. Next little package here, your Rikka package. So we'll start with 3 copies of the Petal. This card will get you a Rikka monster to your hand. It will lock you into plants, but you're not gonna have to worry about that plant lock. It's not gonna cause you too many problems. Then you have a Rikka Princess. This card is absolutely wild. First of all, it's free special summon, and while it's on the field, you're locked into plants again. Its other effect is when it's in your graveyard, if you control a Rikka monster, for cost, you can shuffle it back into your deck and tribute another plant monster you control and negate a monster effect. So if you get this in your graveyard and you have a Rikka on field, you got your little Nibiru negate waiting there for you. So then next you have your other level 4 Rikka, you have Primula. It's really useful for your combo because if a monster you control is tributed, you can special summon it from your hand. And similar to like how Salamangre Gazelle does, it doesn't have to be in your hand. It just has to be in your hand when the resolving effect of the tribute happens. 2 copies of Mudon, that'll get you into a Rikka spell or trap. And so it's often gonna get you your field spell, which is one of the most nuts cards in the game. 2 copies there of the Snowdrop. This will let you tribute a monster you control, and then you can special summon itself and another plant monster from your hand. And then, when it's on the field, you can target a plant monster you control, change all those plant monsters you control, the level of the targeted monster. Now we will get into one of the most powerful field spells in the game, I think. Rikka Con, however people may pronounce it. This card is, like I said, insane. So if you control a Rikka monster, you can set a Rikka spell or trap from your deck. Also, if you're tributing a plant monster you control to activate the effect of one of your Rikka cards, instead of that, you can tribute one of your opponent's face-up monsters. Using their monster as a cost for your tribute just is nuts, because then they can't use that monster to respond because it's already gone bye-bye. So then we'll run the 3 copies of Rikka Glamour. When you activate this card, you can tribute a plant monster you control. You can add a Rikka monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you did tribute a monster, you can add another plant monster from your deck to the hand with the same level as that Rikka monster, but just a different name. You'll tribute a monster almost every time you use it. You can do Princess and Primula, and that tribute will, as long as you tributed one of your monsters to activate it, will let you special summon the Primula, and then the Princess will be that other free special summon. Or you can do the Petal and the Loci. So you have different targets, different options in there. So lastly, you have the Rikka Sheet, the last Rikka card. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Also, it's optional that you can tribute a plant monster. Target that monster, you can negate the effects, and then if you tributed something, you just snatch that one. This card is essentially just a vegan Widow Anchor. It's wild. 2 of the Therion Lily Borea. So this card will let you special summon it from your hand by targeting a plant monster in your graveyard, and then you summon it and equip the plant monster. Then you can send to your graveyard a card from your field or hand to search the Therion field spell, Therion Disc Coliseum. Lets you add another Therion monster to your hand. Also, if a monster you control would be destroyed by battle, you can send a Therion card from your deck to the graveyard instead. So you get a protection there if you need some battle protection. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you target a Therion monster in your graveyard and just add it to hand. The field spell is a lot more than just searching out your Therion King Regulus, because again, you may get interrupted. You may have to end your turn with this on the field. that's not a terrible thing. It gives you extra protection. Regulus, also, this is the one card that you have to worry about doing before you plant lock yourself. It's going to let you special summon it by targeting a Therion monster in your graveyard, because you don't have a machine, so you can't use that. But a Therion monster in your graveyard, so you'll have Lily in your graveyard. Special summon it, attach the Lily. So then that'll give you your Omni Negate there, and you'll get it, 2 times, because you can send the Lily as the cost for the first time, and then itself as the second one. And it's just a big body too. I mean, if you have to swing for game and you get that in your hand, it's just power through with a big 2800 there. For your other various plant monsters though, the Lone Fire Blossom. This will let you tribute a plant monster you control. It can be itself or another one. Special summon from your deck a plant monster. Soft once per turn, so if you get it off the board and bring it back, which you'll see, you can just use it again. In our last main deck plant monster, we'll be running 1 copy of Cactus Bouncer. If you have your Cactus Bouncer, plus another plant monster on field, no special summoning monsters. This shuts down so many decks. It's just like going first. If you open your Unexpected Die plus your Cactus Bouncer, your opponent's not doing anything when their turn comes, because you'll have all your normal interrupts plus the Cactus Bouncer that they have to deal with before anything else. We will be running some staples in the deck, as one does. 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. Talents just gets you a better chance to get into your Rikka cards that you'll need for getting through those hand traps. The other effects are equally, or if not more powerful. Just they use a hand trap on you, you snatch one from their hand. They're down to 3 cards in hand. Then you got 3 Ash Blossom. This card's just good against so many decks in the format. And right now we're in a format where you're gonna want to run a lot of generic hand traps. And that's also why we're running 3 Ghost Bell, because Ghost Bell can hit things that are in Despia, it can hit things in Labyrinth. And that is it for the main deck. Let's now transition here into our extra deck. 3 copies of Dryas. Once per turn, when you would take damage from an effect, you can gain that much afterwards. If this is summoned with your Lokai, your normal monster, you'll be able to search a Sunvine spell from your deck. The search effect on this though is not a hard once per turn, so if say they choose to negate this, you can get another Lokai on field and get that spell. You're gonna get that spell if you didn't already open it, which you might do. But then you got your healer. What healer's gonna do is when it's special summoned, you're gonna be able to target a Sunavalon link monster you control, gain life points equal to its link rating times 300. It's really good just for time to get that extra health. Then you have your 2 copies of Jasmine. When you gain life once per turn, soft once per turn, add a plant monster to your hand, and as an additional effect, you can tribute a plant monster it points to, special summon from your deck a plant monster. 1 copy of Dancepion. What this card lets you do is pick a number from 1 to 3, and then excavate that many cards from the top of your deck. Special summon up to 2 plant monsters from that excavated cards that you revealed. And those cards that you special summon cannot be used as link material, which not a huge deal. You'll be able to get effects off them, hopefully. You'll be able to XC summon, use them for tributes, whatever else you may need. This card will never hit a plant monster. You'll excavate and never touch a plant monster. And that's okay, because you have a chance. Then, to go along with our Dryas, you have a copy of Melias, sorry. And what this will let you do is bring back your Lokai from the graveyard, which will get you into the ability to go into your Link 4 that's coming up here, Banglancer. Banglancer will let you target a monster your opponent controls, and you can take damage equal to that monster's attack, but then you bounce them. If it's in your graveyard, banish cards from your link monsters from your graveyard, whose combined link rating is equal to 4, and special summon it back, and then you banish it when it leaves the field. So it's a really cool card, really just another good interrupt to get on your board. That does it for the link monsters. 2 copies of Rikka Queen Strenna. This will let you detach a material and target a plant monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. That's one way to get your Lone Fire Blossom back to your hand. And also, if you tribute this card, and as long as it has a material when it's tributed, you can special summon from your extra deck, rank 5 or higher Xyz monster, and then attach this as material. 2 copies of Teardrop the Rikka Queen. You can just attach a material to target a monster your opponent controls and just tribute it for effect. Every time a monster is tributed, it gains 200 attack. It starts at 2,800, 3,000, 32, so just kind of get over some big bodies. And then your last Xyz monster, one you're often going to be summoning off Strenna, Sacred Tree Beast Hyperton. It'll let you, based off the material that's equipped to it, you can detach that type of material, monster, spell, or trap, and negate one of that type. And how do you get those attached? On your turn, when you activate a monster, spell, or trap effect, while this is on the field, you can, quick effect, attach from your graveyard to this card one of the same type. So you activate a spell, attach a spell. But with that all being said, let's see what the side deck's looking like. Here you'll have your 3rd copy of Lily. Really good, just, you're going first, you want as much consistency as possible. as many special summons as you can see to get into your combos. Going against a spell deck, you're going to want your Naturia Rosewood. This is on the field. Your opponent can only activate one spell or trap per turn. With a meta with Runic in it, even Sky Striker's still running around. Things like Labyrinth, you're just going to limit them. It's really huge. And this card, Predator Plant, Spider Orchid. So with level 1, you're going to search it off your Rikka Glamour. If your opponent's running like Skill Drains or Floodgates or something, put it in your Pendulum Zone, and that turn, when it's been in your Pendulum Zone, you can destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. So it's really good to get around things like Skill Drain. And we're going to run 3 Kurikaras. My favorite staple card, it's one of my favorite cards in the game. And then we'll have 3 Forbidden Droplet. You need ways to break boards, It's just another good card to just get those negates down. 2 Lightning Storm and Duster. You know what they do. They do what they do. They do it well. And another card like that, 3 Evenly Matched. You're going second, you just want to break some boards because, again, 1 card combo. So if you have a bunch of board breakers, plus your way into your 1 card combo, you're sitting pretty. Now it's time for a combo. This could be a whole nother video on its own, a long video, but we're just going to do the classic 1 card Lokai combo. It's just standard that if you're uninterrupted, it can make a board that's, a tough cookie to crack. Normal summon Lokai. Most bannable normal in all the game will then link you off into a Sunavalon Dryas. Dryas effect will search you your Sunvine Sowing. Going to use the Sowing, pay 1,000 life points. Special summon your Sunseed Twin. On this, you're going to have 2 Chainlinks. Chainlink 1 is the Twin, Chainlink 2 Dryas. You do that so you don't have your Twin get Ghost Spelled. Dryas will bring you out the Healer. When the Dryas brings that out, it's because you gain 1,000 back from the Sowing. And Twin will bring you out back the Lokai from your graveyard. Healer, target Dryas to gain 300. Next, you are going to link your Healer and your Dryas into your Jasmine. So now you're going to link the Twin into your Dryas. And then you're going to link the Lokai because it's a normal monster into another Healer. Healer target Dryas, gain 300 again. This will trigger Jasmine's effect to add to hand. You're going to go with the Lily Berea. Now with Lily Berea in hand, you are going to summon it with its effect. So attaching one of your plants from the graveyard, Lily Berea effect, to send whatever you attach to it to the graveyard in order to add to hand your Disc Coliseum. And you'll activate your Disc Coliseum. That's going to add you your copy of Therion King Regulus. You're going to use your Jasmine effect, send the Healer to special summon from your deck a Lone Fire Blossom. You can use your Lone Fire Blossom, tribute your Lily, special summon from your deck, copy of Petal. And now before you go into Petal's effect, because Petal is now going to plant lock you, you're going to want to use your Regulus, target your Berea Engrave, to summon it and equip. And now this gives you a nice beater on board as well as an Omni Negate. So now that you've done that, now you'll go ahead and use your Petal effect to add to hand your copy of Mudan. Summon your Mudan by tributing your Lone Fire Blossom. Mudan effect will then add to your hand the Con-Con, which you will now activate the Con-Con. And because you have a Rikka monster, you can Con-Con effect to set from your deck a copy of Glamour. You're not going to activate this right away. Okay, before you go any further, you're going to link these two. Another copy of Jasmine, because her one effect is a soft once per turn with your gaining life effect. What you can do is, from your graveyard, you can use the Sunseed Twin effect, which because you have 2 healers in your graveyard, you'll be able to banish your Twin, tribute your first Jasmine, the one that you've already used the effects for, and then you can special summon out the healer from your grave, and that'll let you target Dryas again, gain 300, and then that'll trigger your second Jasmine's soft once per turn effect, which will let you add to hand a copy of Snowdrop. You can link the 2 of these off into Smellias. The effect of Smelly is to bring back from your graveyard a Lokai. These 2 off into Bangalancer. Now, you can activate your copy of Glamour, tributing your healer. That'll let you add to hand a Rikka monster, as well as another plant monster with the same level and a different name. In this case, we'll be adding our 2 level 4 Rikkas to hand, Princess and Primula. And on the resolution of that, because the monster was tributed, the Primula will be able to special summon herself. On top of that, you have their free special summon in your Rikka Princess. Now you can Xyz the 2 of these into your Strenna. And Strenna effect to detach a material to add from your graveyard to your hand, Lone Fire Blossom back to hand. Now you'll use the effect of Snowdrop from hand to tribute your Strenna in order to special summon Snowdrop and your Lone Fire Blossom in hand. And now because Strenna was tributed, what you'll be able to do with that is summon from your extra deck Sacred Beast Hyperton, and you will use the Strenna as a material. Now you can, just for a little extra bonus, you can, because you'll activate the monster effect using the Lone Fire Blossom effect, summon it to just get another princess or just something else out. And Hyperton, because you use the monster effect, will be able to add a monster and attach it to itself. So you can just attach like a Dryas or something from your grave. Last but not least, you'll use the effect of Snowdrop, targeting itself, turn them into level 8s. And you will Exy summon into Teardrop, the Rikka Queen. So now, this is what you're left with. This is the most standard bread and butter combo, if I'm uninterrupted. This is your board. You have an Omni Negate. You have a Tribute for effect of your opponent's monster. You have a bounce. You just have to pay the life points. You'll have monster negates. If you have an extra spell in your deck to use, you could have, alternatively used a spell and gotten another spell attached to him. But then you have the ability to tribute one of your opponent's monsters for cost for the Con, as long as you have your Teardrop on the field, because you're usually going to be doing that with the Rikka Princess, which is a graveyard shuffle back for cost and tribute for cost monster effect negate. It's really good because if your board gets Dark Ruler, at least you still have your Rikka on field. So if you go Rikka Princess, tribute an opponent's monster using Con, you still have a monster negate active, and you leave yourself plenty of extra deck left for follow-up for your next turn. If you enjoyed this super long combo, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Nice.
Oh, I just did peace signs. Oh.